We first learned about Amaze Me as a project back in 2011. I met colleagues from Finland, in particular Marita Mattila from the University of Applied Sciences in Mikkeli, which is in the southeast of Finland. Marita shared the concept of Amaze Me Leader with us in 2011. At that point, we weren't probably in a position to deliver Amaze Me Leader, but we did send a group of young people out to participate in Finland. We then created a partnership, a working group of lag areas in Finland and Dumfries and Galloway, with a view to us delivering Amaze Me Leader in Dumfries and Galloway in 2018.
You know, I was really pleased with the diversity of people that we brought, and what I really liked was the fact that the group gelled really well. We created a lot of opportunities for that gelling to happen, both culturally through where they were from, but also culturally in other issues, you know, whether it be issues of disability or LGBT young people or whatever. The group gelled really well and supported one another really well. The way the kind of week worked was in Dumfries and Galloway we have 4 locality areas. Nithsdale, which is where Dumfries and surrounding areas is, Annandale and Eskdale, which is where Lockerbie, Moffat, etc. surrounding areas is. The Stewartry, Castle Douglas, Dalbeattie, Gatehouse of Fleet, that kind of thing. And then the far west of the region, which is Stranraer, Whithorn, Newton Stewart, etc, etc. It was important for us that young people were able to see something from each area, and that's really how our week progressed.
We're quite a large region, as regions go in Scotland, and certainly compared to some of the leader regions that they see in Finland, which are much smaller areas. We had a really tough time actually whittling down the number of projects that we could visit. We had so much that we could have put in the programme, but given the leader projects, the other communities in Dumfries and Galloway, the opportunity to showcase what they have was a massive motivation for us in delivering Amaze Me Leader here.
First few days, well, of course you have to acknowledge people, and of course for Finnish it's also like strangers. But of course when you get interactions and you know that when you know everyone, it's gonna be really fun.
Hosting something like Amaze Me Leader, like the visits today, are very important to us. It's great to have young people from across Europe coming to see nature reserves like this, and also we've had leader funding here for our fantastic Peter Scott Observatory as well, and it works really well in the landscape here, and it's a great sort of engagement tool, getting people close to nature, and it's great having all these young people out on the reserve today. Very worthwhile.
The motivation for us to do the Amaze Me Leader event was rooted very much in priorities within our local development strategy to get more young people involved in local decision making. So to get young people involved in that, over the years we have tried various ways of engaging young people, but it's never really had the impact that we'd be looking for. Amaze Me Leader provides a platform for young people to come in and experience local decision making, but also for that to feed into the wider work that the Leader programme does.
We moved to Annandale and Eskdale, and the focus of that primarily was Eskdale Muir, which is one of the most remote communities in Dumfries and Galloway. And it's quite unique in loads of ways, partly also because it has a massive Buddhist monastery there. But it's also quite an unsustainable community because young people are few and far between in that community. We really wanted to get our young folk to think about how could, in these really remote, rural, isolated communities, how could young people be creating a life for themselves? So, we did a bit of work with the Eskdalemuir Hub, and also we invited young people to see Samilang, which is the Buddhist monastery.
We don't have a lot of young people in the area, and we'd like to see more young people in the area, and it's good to hear and get feedback and get ideas and get really, today we got some great ideas from people, so that was extremely valuable. And I hope they got an impression about life in a remote part of rural Scotland.
People were brilliant, weren't
Yes.
they? They were having a great time. I mean, there was a lot of laughter and you really could see that they were enjoying themselves.
Great interaction, lots of questions as well, stopping off, I believe you signed autographs at one
Yes.
point.
As Christian Bruce, but they were really interested and that helps.
They're very attentive right from the word go. You could tell that when you first met them, both groups. They really wanted to be here and really wanted to hear what you were talking about. It was really a pleasure.
The midges haven't even been too bad.
They haven't.
So we've been fairly lucky this
Yay.
evening, and like you said, Liz, brilliantly organised, very slick.
The young people were encouraged to have conversation, to have discussion, and we had a number of clan gathering coming together at the end of each day to discuss what they had seen, share their experiences.
Food or finding out about Robert Burns or something along the lines.
Well, it helped us with the tourism, it helped us connect with it. And we all have different ways of looking at it, but to come together as a team and really discuss that through creativeness, that was really nice.
In the Stewartry, we took them to see Bittle Castle, which is near Dalbeattie, which has recently been taken over by a couple of cousins who are redeveloping it and trying to make it into a new and improved tourism offering for the region, but which is very authentically developing using traditional methods, etc.
Our goal in coming here was to restore the property, which is a very historic property, but we felt had been quite overlooked over the past maybe 100 or so years. Well, I wanted them to get a sense of the history, first of all, and how these buildings and these sites changed throughout the centuries, are rebuilt throughout the centuries, and the history which influences the way that they're built.
Favourite activity was the dragon boat race at the Galloway Activity Centre. It was more teamwork and everybody just came together and got it done, and everybody spent time like swimming after it, and it was generally just a good day.
New Galloway has quite a a vibrant range of things for young people. SDLMUIR struggles with that a little bit, so what were the differences? Why was one community successful and another one was struggling more? Albeit New Gallery is significantly bigger than SDLMUIR. Just getting them to think about comparing and contrasting. And we went to the Cat Strand, which is an arts and culture hub there. They moved that night and they stayed again in the big marquee out in Wigtonshire now, which was in the Carrotry Forestry Dark Skies Park. And we had some input from a stargazer, etc., which the young people loved actually. It was one of their highlights, I think, was the input from the stargazing guy, and a forestry walk from the rangers, etc. there.
The comic book, graphic novel talk workshop, that was, I really enjoyed that because I'm really into comics and stuff. He told us loads of websites we could go to, and just all the information we got just really helped me because I want to draw comics and do comic books, online comics and stuff.
Today we are organising 3 different activities for participants in the Amaze Me Leader event. They all relate to leader projects, so there are 2 prehistoric activities. They're making a prehistoric ladder and they're doing weaving with our volunteer. And then they are also wattling, which is weaving with Hazel, and making a panel which will be installed as a sort of mezzanine level in our roundhouse. The roundhouse was made using leader funds. And lastly, they will be seeing how the layers of archaeology worked using an archaeo puzzle, and that is to mark the fact that our 3rd leader project is to do with analysing the skeletons that were dug up in the 1980s. There's also a message about tourism, how we are encouraging sustainable tourism to come here to a rural area to regenerate the economy. So hopefully they'll have seen all that today.
The think tank event on the Friday of that week was really an opportunity to bring all of those discussions together, culminating in an event that would involve not just the participants and the host locations and the leader team and the Sleeping Giants team, but also bringing in a number of key stakeholders, both on a local and a national level, to hear what the young people had to say.
The quality of the discussions, I think, was great. It was difficult for the decision makers to not speak, and they were given a briefing in advance to say that during the very first workshop session, they were given a job description as expert listeners. That was their job. They were purely listening and not contributing. And I think some of them had to just about sit on their hands and zip their mouths, not to jump in when the young people were talking. But I think that was really, really important to do it that way. So in the first workshop session, the young people were presenting the strengths and weaknesses effectively under each of these key themes. And then in the afternoon session, they began to present their solutions, and then that's when the expert listeners were invited to join and come up with co-produced solutions really with the young people.
The think tank for me was brilliant because we got to speak to many influential people and get involved in kind of the decision making that will change young people's lives, hopefully for years to come. Yeah, it was extremely interesting to learn what the problems were and start getting into what the solutions are going to be and what similar pages we were on with kind of the older generation.
We talked a lot about tourism and what its challenges and opportunities and such. I found it very interesting because in Finland also we have some similar problems in tourism than here, and so it was fun seeing the solutions of other people, how they would solve these problems.
When you can actually get young people together doing some fun things, doing some exciting things, it starts to break down some of those kind of those nerves and things like that, that sitting around a table in a boardroom isn't going to work for young people, but going out into the community, that's where you're actually going to start to get some of those relationships that build up that allow young people to express themselves in a more powerful way. Young people have got a different experience of the world, and so some of those ideas about what needs to change I want very clearly to come out today, and then I want those in power to listen and actually come up with how we're going to deliver those solutions. These are things that we can actually start to change right now. So I think that this model is a really good model, being youth-led, solution-driven, having those in power, listening to children and young people, but then also us holding those in power to account against delivering on those solutions that the young people have put forward.
The feedback that we've had from young people is that they've seen and done things that they didn't expect to see and do, and that they hadn't had the opportunity to do before. We've started a conversation with young people in Dumfries and Galloway, and they've picked that baton up and they're running with it, and that will live beyond the Leader programme, and that will live beyond this funding period. And for me personally, that's really what Amaze Me Leader has been about. It's been about getting young people involved and giving them a platform and just kind of setting them off to be able to continue those conversations.
There's really nothing like this where you're just thrown in a situation with 60 people you don't know, a week where you have no idea what you're doing, and it's all crammed in, so it has been really amazing, and yeah, definitely amazed me, that's what I'd say.
Definitely the friendships that I've built. So I would say I came here not really knowing anyone, and now there's like 60 applicants who I can definitely all call my friend.
The only word I can imagine describing it is amazing.
If I were to sum up the Amaze Me Leader in one word, it'd have to be incredible.
Breathtaking.
In one word, Amaze Me Leader has been amazing.
I would say fascinating.
2, 1,